Hey there, Space Cadets. This is Andrew Pauly, creator of Galactifreaks, coming at you with a drawing tutorial today. I'm going to be doing some character development. So today is going to be all about designing characters, developing characters, getting them ready to appear in my comic book Galactifreaks. So I'm going to hop on over to my Patreon here and just show you some pages from my sketchbook. And this is where, of course, all characters will excuse me, come from. Originally, in this summer, I started thinking about ideas for my next storyline. I'm in the middle of sorting out printing for the end of my latest story, Galactifreaks Time Songs, but I've already got the next one taking over, and it's called Captain Yeah and the Emperor's Children. Here's Captain Yeah, and you can see here he's in the grip of some strange space golem. We're going to look at that in future tutorials. There's a few really cool sketches along here. And then we've got this dude here who came to me in the summer. He's called the Emperor, and he's got two children. That's one of them, I think, and he's going to be the main story character, or one of the main characters in the story. Captain Yeah and the Emperor's Children. So it's to do with him and do with his two children. So what we're going to do tonight is I want to be developing the idea of his children. He's going to have two children, a son and a daughter, and they're not going to be getting on that well. So let's have a look about what we can do about designing them. So we're going to take this drawing here and we're going to develop it further. Particularly notice the sort of the wavy horns or ram horns and the sort of, I don't know, what you call that, sort of catfish moustache tendrils, I don't know. Let's have a look. So we're going to hop on over to Sketchbook and we're going to have a look at how I design characters. So before we can draw them in my comic, let's go back to that website, in sort of dynamic movement, it's really important that we just get to grips of what we want them to look like first. So here, there's Captain Yeah, he's sort of being thrown across some star system or something there. I don't know what's going on, but he doesn't look too happy. Got this space golem there. So not only is it important to explore these ideas in your sketchbook dynamically, but when you get on to sort of, I don't know, making them concrete in your design ideas, that we work on them and get a good solid, this is my design. So to do that, Sketchbook Pro has got the symmetry tool, which is a fantastic tool and allows us to work very quickly when doing character design. So I've got a fat brush here, look, fat glaze brush, and I'm going to start thinking about the silhouette of my character. That's going to be the first thing now. So alright, so Galactifreaks tend to be sort of 2 heads high. Alright, that's the sort of proportion I work to. So let's start with that. So I've got my 2 heads here. So now we can start thinking, okay, that's the sort of size that we're working on. And the hands are going to come out around here somewhere. Okay, so working very primitively here with a fat tool. Alright, we're going to get his eyes in, we're going to get where his mouth is going to go, reduce that size down a little bit. So this brother and sister outfit are going to be twins. So we want them to look pretty identical. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave, no I'm not, I'm going to work on a little bit more on some of these shapes, but we're going to work on the basic layout so that when, I don't know, this is going to be, I don't know, the brother, and then we'll move on and do the sister after, but I'm going to keep this as a template. So I'm going to draw them out simply and then do a more detailed design on top for the brother, and then duplicate that layer, reuse that layer there to help me design the sister. So a new layer, we're going to move to slightly more smaller pencil, though it could be smaller. Use my brush size puck to make that bigger there. So now I'm looking with these guys to give them a sort of slightly sort of fishy look, not completely. They're going to have these, you know, the sort of little weird mustaches like carp and koi and catfish and certain types of shark have. I want them to have that. So I've been thinking about this story, Captain Yer and the Emperor's Children. That's just a working title. It's obviously going to feature Captain Yer. And he's going to go to a new dimension, I think. We're going to go beyond the baby, beyond the Higgs boson baby. So that's my basic form, I think. So I'm going to duplicate that there and turn off one there, and I'll come back to that to do that when I do the other character. So this is going to be the brother. Now, although I said I want them fish-like, I also want them to have a plume, varying plumes. The Emperor, if we go back to there, he's got this massive headdress look of plumes, sort of feathers, because he's like the alpha. And so I want his children to have slightly less plumage, I think. This guy's going to have shorter horns, maybe a bit bigger, I don't know. They're more like sort of elf ears. I'm going to put them at the top here. Okay, he's going to have a shorter plumage. I think I might make those ears, not those ears, see I'm calling them ears, make those horns a bit like a ram's horn or something, so they got a sort of devilly sort of curve to them. I haven't done horns like that before, so it will help differentiate them from other Galaxa freaks maybe. Okay, so that's basically it. Now what I'm going to want to do is add a few details. I'm not going to work too much on colour, but I want to have some stripes on there. Maybe a slightly smaller plumage, and they're going to have like a, I don't know, like a peacocky sort of thing coming out the top of the head. I don't know if he will, perhaps his sister will. Okay, so that's my first dude. So I'm going to move him, shrink him down, put him out of the way over there. Cool, let's go back to this one now. So this is the sister, they're twins. So let's get to work. She's going to have a bit more plumage than we just said, didn't we? And she'll probably have the same sort of stripe situation on her feet and her legs, but probably a different colour scheme. So is that enough differentiator? I think it is. There'll probably be slightly different colours as well to help as well. Alright, so cool. Let's knock her back into place, make her the right sort of size. There you go. So we put her down there, maybe for now. Brilliant. Okay, so that's some design development. That's my character designs very simply. And what we want to do now is do a more finished version. Alright, so now I haven't set up a new folder for this, so children's, what will I call that? Design idea 1. Okay, so I'm going to put them to one side, and what I'm going to do now then is do a more dynamic sort of image of one of these pair on the right here. Then we'll have a nice design page. So create a new layer, go back to my big pen, make it even fatter, go to a lighter colour, and let's get this working. So I like to get a silhouette going on of some sort. And with that chunky pen, it's easier to feel out the sort of silhouette. Not quite right. So I want the body sort of leaping into the air, maybe sort of curving out a bit like that, and one leg down, and the other one coming up like that. Okay, so it might be a bit big. Let's shrink that size down there, just a touch. So when we're working sort of 2 heads high, aren't we? We go, cool, and then let's get this hand in place. Now, there's something very important about these twins. They both have a staff, and then on the end of the staff is something mightily important that you're going to find out in a moment, so stay tuned. So can we see how that has made a nice silhouette by using that wider pen tool, brush tool? So now we're going to, on a fresh layer, think about our proportions. I'm not worried about any facial expressions yet. They look quite similar to Captain Yeah, don't they, until you start putting in these catfish moustache. I don't know, I've got to think of a better. Whiskers. Catfish whiskers, I think that's probably a bit better. And then where's that plumage going to go? I'm doing the brother, by the way. Plumage is going to go in that way. I'm not sure about the placement of that horn. It's here, isn't it? That's not working. There. Right, so there. Let's get this hand in now. Don't think my silhouette's quite right there, so that's, now that I'm getting some definition on there, it's causing problems. Might turn that off a bit to freestyle on here a bit. I've got that, but it's not an aggressive pose, is it? I might change that pose. I might have him standing, striding. Let's chuck in an extra layer and go back to here. No, that's more like it's more sort of legs apart, strong pose. Right, it's more like it. Ooh. Okay, that's more like it. So let's get this staff sorted. In fact, before we do that, yeah, let's do that first of all. So we've got a staff, some sort of, they both got some sort of ancient heirloom passed down over the millennia. But on the end of the staff is something quite amazing. So who's on the end of the staff? Oh my golly gosh, it's everyone's favourite psychonaut. Why on earth would this princess and prince from another dimension have Captain Year on the top of their staff, or at least an image of Captain Year, a totem, a fetish? Exciting. I'll have to tune in to find out more. Alright, so I'm going to keep that one here because I'm going to use that when I do some inks. Where have I flattened the other one to then? I'll put it all the way down there. What's it doing down there? Okay. That's all on one layer. So, let's just tidy a few things up before we do some inking. Make sure we've got those eyes right. Why am I making them a bit bigger? Okay. Right, okay, that's cool. Alright, now, classic mistake I always make, I always end up drawing on top of my sketch layer, so I do a couple of things. I'll reduce the opacity down so it doesn't distract. I also lock it as well, so I think this bad boy. With a couple of adjustments on, so I'm not using my my usual inking pen. what I want. I will use my normal inking pen, I think. Right. Okay, so I'm going to use the predictive curve shape first of all on the eyes. It's a bit wide, that. Let's turn that down a bit. Okay, predictive curve here, just to get those eyes in. Lovely ellipse. Fill, back on it. So I'm using a predictive curve, which you can see snaps to a really nice curve, which is really useful when you're doing sort of flowing organic shapes, like we've got on the horns there. So it's great for big shapes, but in a moment we're going to settle in and do some detailed work, a bit of detailed work. It doesn't work as well there. So I'm going to use the steady stroke on the arms and then just freestyle on the hands, so we're not going to have any smoothing out on this style. We want this to be a bit more natural, fluid. I tend to go right down and I'll rub out that line there. I'm going to add all my intended line work, and then I'm going to do the it's too many, I think. Let's reduce those down a bit. There we go. Draw in the staff, and we'll draw the Captain Yeah style totem head in a moment on a separate layer using the symmetry tool. Okay, so that's coming on quite nicely. Quick sip of wine. Lovely. And then let's do the totem head. Nice and simplified. Put some teeth in. Now this totem head might disappear when I come to do the comics, because let's face it, it's going to be a real pain to draw as I'm doing it now, to do an extra head every single time, but you know, it looks cool now. So I can turn that off. And crunch these down. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to move the sister out of the way there. Let's colour this bad boy in. So when I'm colouring, I tend to work in a solid way rather than washes, so I will work in the same way that in the real world you might work in oils or acrylics, that you start dark and you get light. Okay, so I've selected all the background and I'm going to invert that using the selecting tool, and I'm going to start with dark grey. And I'm going to lock the transparency. This little padlock there means that I can't go over the edges, which, you know, it's always really cool. So let's tidy things up a little bit on my desktop here, move things here and there. And let's start with working out my light source. Just basic. Okay. Predominantly these guys are going to be turquoise, although the system might be yellow, I think. So we're going to lay that down, take a light colour, smash out some basic highlights, then use my wash tool, which I used earlier, to draw with, to do my sort of silhouettes with, to get in there now. Let's get that up lighter. So right. Not that good, pasty on that slightly. Let's use this rougher sort of paintbrush there. Okay, that's pretty cool. Now, this totem that this dude's got, I haven't got names for them by the way yet, but the totem this dude's got is going to be blasting some cosmic stuff out. He's going to be casting some sort of spell or something with it, maybe. So I think about the light sort of starting around here and coming out, so where's that going to be hitting? It's going to have slightly sort of distorted colours, I think. Not colours, side tones. Right. I think for the feathers we're going to go yellow and pink. Okay. So I'm using a nice sort of almost like a pastel. What's it called? This brush is called a dry brush basic, but it's It's from an Inktober set, and you know, people that follow me regularly over these things know that I absolutely love Sketchbook Pro, and or that it's useful for, because I think it's probably the most versatile drawing program out there. But one of the great things about it is that it's constantly updating its brush selection, okay, and it's got a really great brush generation and brush capture elements to the software. And each week almost, or quite often, they're giving out free brush sets from various designers, and this one I'm using right now is called Inktober. Okay, you know Inktober, don't you? This thing here, Inktober. Let's go on the new there. Inktober, boom. It's very big. Where you have to draw a picture every day in October. I didn't, by the way. That's a sketchbook logo as well. But it's a really good brush set. It's got some nice stuff. So, right. So let's start adding some a little bit of shadow now. I think I'm going to undo that. I'm going to save. I'm going to duplicate this layer at the moment because I'm going to be trying out some new. I'll try something out that might not work. Basically, I want to have some shade caused by the casting of the whatever sort of cosmic blast that Tilton's making, but I also don't want it just to be grey. So I'm going to try out a little bit of pink instead and see how that works. But it might go horribly wrong. In fact, I think pretty much yes, I think it's not going to work. That's rubbish. Here we go. Let's go back to that. Right. Okay, never mind. Forget that ever happened. Right, okay, so now details in the feet. Let's try this mouth. Different colour, I'm going to go for yellow. It's always a good idea to drop a complementary colour like the pink in first, just to give it some warmth. Okay, so what about this this stick? What colour is that going to be? Purple. Let's see, a bit purple. Yeah, purple's cool. Right, okay, so that is some pretty basic colours laid down. It's getting dark in his chops there. Let's add some tonal value. In fact, I'll tell you what we'll do to make that easier. I'm going to add in the background, I'm going to add in the blast. So let's get that done. Background, we're going to go for some deep burgundy there. Let's drop in a greyish background there. Okay. Now. Okay, let's try that. Right. Okay, so now I'm going to want to add in this explosion. So let's try this out. Sorry, I want some intense. Some intense stuff coming off. Might even set that to something like glow on there as well. So that's a bit harsh, isn't it? Doesn't really work. Okay. I'm going to lose that. I'm going to put back on. I'm going to make that a really light grey. Let's leave it like that, and then let's have some big line work going on in between. That's more like it's getting more galaxy freaky. That's what we needed to do. We just needed to get some freakiness going on. Okay, so let's go back to here. Let's start adding in that tone value that I was promising you. So a little bit of, come on, where are you? All right, cool. Last of all, I'm going to take a bit of yellow. Normally in Photoshop, sometimes I'll add a stroke to a layer, but sometimes it's nice just to do something a bit more freestyle with an outline on the character. So let's take that sketch pen. Right, well, I can go on for ages like this drawing these sorts of stuff, but let's learn when to finish. Cool. So there we go, Space Cadets. A nice bit of character design for you. Sorry, I went a bit quiet there because I was just chilling out and really getting into it. So there we go. That's the new one of the new characters in what will be the new Galaxy Freak story. Captain Yeah and the Emperor's Children. Make sure you check it out. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Don't forget to visit my Patreon. Don't forget to sign up for free comics. All the links available in the comments below. Any questions, drop us a line, so on and so forth. Okay guys, have a good one. Shine on. Thanks a lot. Goodbye.